Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack, this is Jthbooks, and it's time to start the reading vlog where you pick what I read. So, I'm starting this, it's a Monday morning, it's a little bit later than I normally do. I haven't been to the gym or anything like that like I normally do because the anxiety is very, very high and it's stopping me doing a lot of stuff at the minute. To be honest, I can't really do much. For example, my car needs work on it. £1,000 worth of work. And my anxiety stopped me from phoning them to get the work done. So right now I'm just going to go on a walk because I need to go to the pharmacy and I'm going to meet a friend and we're just going to have a little walk. But that's as much I can do. The rest of the day I'm just going to spend reading. That's all I done really yesterday. And anxiety have a lot of cons. It has a lot of cons. But turns out it makes me read quite a bit. Let's talk about the book, shall we? Now, you had the choice between Loveless by Alice Oseman or Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I have to say, it was a close one. No, that's not true. It wasn't a close one. There was a clear winner. But I will just say, more of you voted than ever. I know you probably think it's not a big deal when to vote, but it really means a lot to me. You know, sometimes I feel this channel, it doesn't really grow and I don't get that many views. And, you know, you start to have a bit of doubt and you think you're not very good at it or no one really wants to hear what you've got to say or anything like that. So when you vote, it really does mean a lot to me. Got a bit stoppy there, didn't I? But hey, that's how I'm feeling. But just know, every comment, every vote, it means a lot. But the winner was... Oh, I crushed the books being silly. It was Rebecca. It was Rebecca. My sister's name. She's not here. I don't know why I did that. But that is her name. Considered a classic. I've never read it. Obviously, that's why it was in the thing. I'm very excited to read it. Well, actually, I'm a bit nervous. I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea what it's going to be like. But you haven't really let me down yet. You know, you really haven't let me down. So many of your books that you vote for are in the top 10. So let's read the first bit together. Then I'm going to go on the walk. Then I'm going to come back and read. That's all I want to do. So let's see how it starts, shall we? Last night I dreamt I went to Mandalay again. It seemed to me I stood by the iron gate leading to the drive, and for a while I could not enter, for the way was barred to me. There was a padlock and a chain upon the gate. I called in my dream to the lodge-keeper, and had no answer, and peering closer through the rusted spokes of the gate, I saw that the lodge was uninhabited. I mean, cracking start. Well, it was all right. Let's not lie. It was all right. But I'm excited to get started, but I need to go because I am late. And then we'll see how far we get in this today. The reading so far hasn't been great this month. I haven't been doing very well. Apart from like yesterday when the anxiety went into high gear and I read a lot. Other than that, it's been a real struggle. So let's hope this does it for me. Friends, it is now 3:15 and let's talk about Rebecca. Let's talk about if I like this book or not. I don't know. I haven't read any. My plan for reading for the day has totally gone awry. I went out for a nice walk with my friend, and as we were walking down the road that my granddad lives on, who's, you know, 94, there was an ambulance down the road. And I said to my friend, do you think that's for my granddad? Do you think that's for my granddad? And he was like, oh, let's hope not, let's hope not. But unfortunately it was. So I have been there for the afternoon. He's fine. He didn't have to go into hospital. They took brilliant care of him. Thank the Lord for our brilliant NHS, who are very overworked and underpaid. But I am now on the night shift. I will be going around there at Harper-State this evening to see if he's all right and do whatever he needs. But a bit of like a weird, scary afternoon. He was still very much his chipper self and in good spirits, and he was making me laugh as he always does. I adore the man. But yeah, so it was just a longer walk than I expected and took a lot longer. But I haven't read any Rebecca, and it's like 3:15 now. At 4:45, I'm going Pokemon hunting. Hunting? Not to kill them, to catch them, but let them live free. My best friend has a child, and he's 9 on Friday, and I play Pokemon Go with him. He loves it. I like to spend time with him, so I'm going to go home and catch some Pokemon because, you know, I am obsessed with the game, so I'm not going to say it's just for him. I can't stop playing it. So I've only really got half an hour. I've got to do some housework, and this could be like a reading vlog where I don't really read the book, but we're going to try. But I did get some book mail that I want to show you, and we'll open it together. So I got, like I said, I got some book mail. It's a box. It is a box from Fourth Estate. That's my name, Jack Holden. Oh, no, you know my full name. Oh, it doesn't care. Oh, JTH. They're my initials. I might have told you that before. I'm rambling because it's been a long day. From Fourth Estate. I love Fourth Estate. I love Fourth Estate Social. So let's see what they were very kindly sent to me. All I can tell you is, package includes product containing nuts. There's food in here, y'all. Oh my God, this is like glued down, which good on them, but that was so unbelievably hard to open. But let's see. This is the thing that contains nuts. I'm gonna have a look at what it is quick. The absolute last thing I expected to come out of that box. It doesn't smell of anything. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea, but it's edible because it contains nuts, so I will eat it. So it's the Beholders by Hester Mooson. Limited edition proof. You're good to me, Fourth Estate. You are absolutely good to me. What an absolutely beautiful cover. So we have The Beholders by Hester Mooson. This, I saw this on Instagram. This is the historical fiction. It comes out January the 18th, 2024. 2024 books, y'all. Let's find out what it's about, shall we? June 1878, the body of a young boy is pulled from the depths of the River Thames, suspected to be the beloved missing child of widely admired Liberal MP Ralph Gethin. 4 months earlier, Harriet is a young maid newly employed at Finton Hall. Fleeing the drudgery of an unwanted engagement in the small village where she grew up, Harriet is entranced by the grand country hall. She is entranced too by her glamorous mistress, Clara Gethin, whose unearthly singing voice floats through the house. But Clara, though captivating, is erratic. The master of the house is much lauded politician, but he is strangely absent, and some of their beautiful belongings seem to tell terrible stories. Unable to ignore her growing unease, Harriet sets out to discover their secrets. When she uncovers the shocking truth, a chain of events is set in motion that could cost Harriet everything, even her freedom. Absolutely brilliant. That sounds absolutely brilliant. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for saying. Comes out January 14th. January 18th, 2024. That's what I meant to say. Look, it's even like got a pretend news clipping. And it came with a little note from the publisher, which is, hope you enjoy it, Jack. So, good book mail, but a bad day. I might try and read like a chapter before I have to go, so I'm going to try and do that now. Good morning, friends. It's Tuesday morning. Now, as you know, a bit of a strange day yesterday, so last time you heard from me, I hadn't read that much, but I did manage to read 50 pages yesterday. I had a read in the bath, had a read before I went to bed, and I actually read 17 pages this morning. So I think I'm on chapter 7. I'm about to start chapter 7. Well, not now. I'm about to go to work. But I am enjoying it much more than I thought I would. I don't know why. I didn't think I would, but I didn't think I was going to. So it starts off and we have this woman and her dreams are sort of being haunted by Mandalay, by this estate. And it's got much more of a mystery element to it that I didn't expect. It's very much, they're out there now. They don't want to talk about what happened. They're sort of safe, but they're bored. And while it was good in Mandalay, it was really good, but they can't go back. And it's very intriguing. I want to know what happened. And then you sort of shift to back in the past. She's a companion for Mrs. Van Hopper. And Van Hopper. And while this woman is ill, she meets Maxim de Winter. And we essentially read them falling in love. But when her companion, she decides to go, she goes to say goodbye to him. And he says, no, you can't leave. I want to marry you. And like I said, you sort of read them falling in love, but she realises then that he's never said I love you to her. She said it to him, but he's never said it to her. And then you as a reader think, oh, he hasn't. Like you followed them falling in love, but he's never said it. And then this companion, like the woman who she's a companion for, says, he doesn't love you. He's just lonely at his house. It's all very much centred around this house. He is a widower. His first wife has died under sort of mysterious circumstances. She gets told she drowned in the lake by the estate, but we don't know. And we don't know if he's just lonely or he actually does love her. And like I said, she's very intrigued by this house. Everyone sort of wants to visit this grand house. And it's just really good. Definitely one who really knows how to sort of capture a moment and set a setting. Like, we don't know much about the house apart from what sort of and the woman we follow has told us, but that's not much. But I want to know. I want to go there. I want to know what it's about. She just really knows how to capture a moment. She knows how to capture a feeling between these two, and just the relationships are very clear. Like you just know. I'm really intrigued. I didn't expect to be enjoying it this much, but I am. I just wish I'd read more yesterday, but that's not how it went. So now, unfortunately, I have to go to work. What's the time? It's like nearly 7:45. Someone's going to be here for 11 in a minute. So, what? Let's see. Let's see what we bake today. And we'll have a good time. I just want to stay in and read this, but I can't. Hopefully, I'll get to like 100 pages tonight. But the tennis is on. Anyone watching Wimbledon? By the time this goes up, Wimbledon will be finished. But I love tennis. I love tennis. And it's distracting me. But I'm excited for them to get to Manderley. Ugh, I never thought I'd be like this, but all the girlies that love this book, they were right. They were right. All I have thought about all day is coming home to read my book, and it is now 6:30. I haven't read a thing. I've been for with my friend and his little boy, and now I'm just watching the tennis. Why'd I do this? Why'd I do this? But I hope you enjoyed my day of baking. You saw me making some scones and some nutty bar. I have to make that all the time because it's quite popular, but let's hope I actually get some reading done tonight. I'm going to have a nice long bubble bath. Always bubbles. Always. And then let's just hope, please. It's Wednesday morning. Now, I know I said yesterday I didn't get to read much, and that's because mainly in the evenings I'm going around to my granddad's at the minute and sort of doing the night shift. I don't stay the night, but I help him out and I make his tea, whatever he needs, I do. But it's right in my reading time. I did, however, manage to get I got to 185 pages, so I read another 7 chapters, basically. And what's happened is she's married him. We didn't see that. She's married him and she's gone to Manderley. She's married an older man. You know, that's my kind of gal, if you get what I'm saying. She's living in this big house and she's getting used to all the staff. They grew up in very different classes. Who grew up with money, she didn't, and she's getting used to all that. And she's very much living in the shadow of this Rebecca. Everyone sort of says how enigmatic she was and how beautiful. She's described as the most beautiful person people have ever seen. And she's really dealing with her own insecurities and being compared to this Rebecca. Everyone that sort of visits compares her to Rebecca. It's really fascinating. And the only sort of glimpse we've got of Rebecca that hasn't been a glowing review is from this man named Ben who sort of, we keep seeing at the beach where Rebecca supposedly drowned, and he sort of told a story of saying, if you won't put me in asylum like she threatened to when I saw what she done. So that's the only glimpse, and it's very intriguing. It's very beautifully written. I didn't think I'd be reading about flowers this much, but here we are. And it's just, like I said yesterday, she just really knows how to capture a time and a place and just make you feel like you're in that house. It's really, really talented. There's a little bit I want to read you because I just thought it was beautiful. I just thought it was really beautiful, so I'm quickly going to read it. Especially if you don't think it's beautiful. Maybe it was just in the context of the story, but I like to read this to you, so let's go, shall we? For he was gayer than I had thought, more tender than I had dreamed, youthful and ardent in 100 happy ways. Not the Maxim I had first met, not the stranger who sat alone at the table in the restaurant, staring before him, wrapped in his secret self. My Maxim laughed and sang, threw stones into the water, took my hand, wore no frown between his eyes, carried no burden on his shoulders. I knew him as a lover, as a friend, and during those weeks I had forgotten he had a life. Orderly, methodical, a life which must be taken up again, continued as before, making vanished weeks a brief, discarded holiday. I just think it's beautiful. Mr. Murray, you know how to do it. You know it. Also, I just want to say I'm really, really grateful because I've just hit 400 subscribers. Now, by the time you're seeing this, it probably will have gone down and it'll be embarrassing that I've kept this in. But one of you lovely, lovely lot said, Jack, you just hit 400 subscribers. And I couldn't believe it. So I just want to say I'm really grateful. I know I was having some doubts earlier in the week. And trust me, they're still there. I really worry that I'm not interesting enough, or I don't talk about books intelligently enough, or you know, I'm just doing it all wrong. But 400, I'm really grateful. It really means a lot. I'm sorry I just clap my hands. I'm sorry I say so and and but a lot. I asked my friend, I said, do I say these things in real life a lot? And he said, no. And I was like, oh, so why do I do it on here? But I do. Again, I just said it. 400, cheers. I really appreciate it. I've got to go to work now. The person who I give a lift is literally right there. And I'm not ready. Yes, before anyone says anything, I have the Christmas duvet on again. I have to. I have it on a 3-week rota, and if I don't stick to that, I get bad luck. And I don't want bad luck. Can't believe I just told you that, but it is how I operate. Friends, it is Thursday morning. I haven't been sleeping well, so I've been up reading this, and I am now on page 299. Do I absolutely wish it was page 300? Yes, I do, but I can't do anything about that. So I'm about to start chapter 20, and a lot's gone down. Let's cover it. So we are basically still where this book is a first-person narrative, and it's very much, I feel this, I think that. You know, she's very down on herself. She's very insecure. She's very much living in the shadow of this Rebecca. And sometimes it's a bit tedious to read. It is, you know. I think I'm expecting her to sort of buck up and sort of rise to the challenge and earn everyone's respect and win, you know, win, girl, win. But that isn't happening. She's very much going lower. And it's just sometimes a bit tedious to read. But they're convinced to throw a grand ball, a grand costume party like they used to back in the day with Rebecca. And the main housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, sort of convinces her to look at this picture in the gallery and dress like this. And she decides to do it. She looks stunning. Well, I think she looks stunning. Yeah. But she looks stunning, and she goes down to surprise them all. Maxim, her husband, gets absolutely furious, and he's like, go back upstairs, get changed, you're not wearing that. And it turns out at the last costume party Rebecca had, that's what Rebecca wore. So this woman, Mrs. Danvers, set her up. And she goes to confront Mrs. Danvers, and Mrs. Danvers is like, yeah, I did set you up. How dare you come here? How dare you try and take Rebecca's place? I love Rebecca. You'll never compare to Rebecca. He doesn't love you. He still loves Rebecca. How dare he marry someone 10 months after Rebecca died? So that is very much, I enjoyed that because it was confirmation, because you're not sure if it's all in our protagonist's head or not. You're not sure, and it's not. That was very much conversation. I very much enjoyed that. And at the end of that conversation, Mrs. Danvers sort of gets her so down that sort of convinces her to kill herself. And they're standing at the window, and she's like, it's very foggy. If I jump, I won't see the stones. But then this horn goes off, and there's a shipwreck. And there is a... Didn't see that coming, did you? You haven't read it. You didn't see a shipwreck coming. But there's it's a small shipwreck. And I'll skip a bit. But while they're down there, while the diver is down there trying to see if he can fix the hole in the boat, he finds the hole, I don't know what a hole is, but it was a hole. The hole of Rebecca's boat. And on this hole, there was a door locked, and it turns out the water's got in, and there is a body inside. And she's like, I don't want to tell Maxim. He doesn't love me. You know, I don't want to tell him. But the Coast Guard's like, we have to. There's a body inside. So she tells Maxim, and she's like, look, I love you. Turns out Rebecca wasn't alone on this ship when she died. I love you. Let's figure this out. And he goes, you can't love me. Rebecca's won. And she's like, what do you mean Rebecca's won? Oh, just so you know, this is very spoilery. If you haven't read this, big spoiler coming. Big spoiler. Spoiler. He's like, Rebecca's won. Rebecca has won. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, we can work through this. And he's like, I can never forget the look in her eyes when it happened. And she's like, well, what happened? And he says, when I murdered her. He murdered her, y'all. He murdered her. And that's where I finished off. What a cliffhanger. I don't know why he murdered her. But Rebecca has The only man that sort of bashes Rebecca is this Ben, who no one really believes, but he sort of says she wasn't that nice. And Mrs. Danvers has said some things like, she did what she wanted, she said what she wanted, she didn't listen to anyone. So there's very much different sides of her coming out now. But he murdered her. He murdered her. I was sort of going out of this book, but back in. Hook, line and sinker. Well done. I keep saying it. Well done, Mr. Maurier. I can't believe it. He murdered her. I mean, it's not that shocking, but it was shocking. He's very much portrayed to be the grieving man, even though he's never really has grieved or you've seen him grieve. You've just heard people say he looked ill after she died. But I can't believe it. He murdered her. He murdered her. And now I want to know why. Why did he murder her? He looked her in the boat and then sunk it. Fascinating. But that's where I've left off. What a cliffhanger. Can't believe it. And I can't read any more till tonight now. But he murdered her. That's all this clip is me saying, he murdered her. But he did. He murdered her. But very much enjoying it. Very much back in. I don't know where it's sitting. Is it like a 4.5 stars, maybe? Maybe even a 5? You sure know how to book a book for me, you lot. You really do. I'm very impressed by your skills. But I've got to get ready for work now, but he murdered her. Right, I've just got to go. I've got to put this down, but my goodness, he murdered her. I've got to stop saying that. I'm going to speak to you all. Let's see what I get up to today. Let's hope I finish this tonight. Let's hope. And then we can wrap it up tomorrow and we can talk about it. But he murdered her. Good morning, friends. It's Friday. And I got some book mail and I thought we could open it together because we've already done one unboxing. So let's do another one, shall we? Let's see if I can... It doesn't have like a normal Terry thing, which is very upsetting. Oh, no, you seem to Wolfman. I have no idea what it is. I'm also there. You can see, I can't. This Pact Is Not As by Zachary Sergey. Now, this is from Tiny Ghost Press. Tiny Ghost Press are a queer indie publisher in the UK, so I have a few of their books. I enjoy them, so very excited for this one. Thanks, Tiny Ghost Press. That's very kind of you. Let's talk about why we're really here, because I have finished Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Now, when we left off, he just admitted he was a murderer, and weirdly, I was very excited. Let's be honest, I was very, very excited. And, well, this book just goes off the deep end after that, doesn't it? She very much was like, I don't care, you're a murderer. I'll stand by you. I love you. And he's like, but we've never really loved each other. You can't love me now. And I was like, oh, what? And also, I just have to say, I think he really did like her because she didn't look like Rebecca. She had sort of this youthful, innocent, young look, while you find that Rebecca was just nasty to him. Like they didn't get on. It was very much a marriage of convenience. And when he told her that he murdered Rebecca, he then had the nerve to say, oh, you don't look young anymore. Or maybe if you hadn't told her you murdered someone or murdered someone, she could still look young and youthful, like she didn't have a care in the world. Oh, pig men. Like I said, it turns out their marriage was very much for convenience. Rebecca says, I will keep up the charade, but I'm going to do what I want. I don't really like you, but I'll make Manderley the best place to be. Everyone will want to be here. Everyone will want to be us. And he very much goes along with it. But she's not very nice. She's sleeping with her cousin, which, by the way, you know, I know this book was written a long time ago, but everyone is just like, finds out she's sleeping with her cousin. They're like, yeah, cool, have fun, have a good time. And it's very much leading towards that she's pregnant. Like, Daphne du Maurier is very much leading us towards Rebecca is pregnant. She wants to tell him, and then the man she's sleeping with, her cousin, and then she's murdered. But it turns into a courtroom drama for a bit, and then it turns into sort of an investigation. And I have to say, I didn't particularly enjoy all that. I don't know, I think the ending for me has let this book down. And also, I didn't really like what it done, because it turns out she's not pregnant, she has cancer, and she only has a couple of months left to live. But then he said, maybe Rebecca won anyway. Maybe she wanted me to murder her. Maybe she got exactly what she wanted, and I thought, okay, yeah. But I think you could only really establish that from if you had Rebecca's point of view. To me, you're just finding an excuse to make yourself not guilty. So I've given it a 4-star. I think it maybe even a 3.5, really. I should have given it, because for me, the ending did let it down. I think the first 3 quarters are really beautiful and good, and that last quarter, I mean, I think the writing style sort of, well, not suffered, but she stopped what she'd been doing because she had so much to fit in, and it was like, oh, he got away with it. Oh no, he hasn't. He's got away with it. Oh no, he hasn't. It was very much like that, and I was just like, he shouldn't get away with it because he's a murderer. And she just sort of blindly stayed with him, like, no matter what. She's like, I will stay with you, be with you. And it's just started to tip it down here. It's probably very dark. I'm sorry. It's really miserable weather for today. For July, it's very miserable. But, yeah, it's just, it let me down. So I think overall I've given it a 4-star. I'm really glad I've read it. Thank you so much for voting again. You know how I appreciate it. You know how I appreciate it. And it makes my day when you all vote and when you all comment. And, yeah, I'm really glad I read it, because I don't think I probably ever would have. Would I have? I maybe would have at some point, but it would have been years down the future. So you helped me read it, and I'm really, really grateful. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed my opinions on the book. Let me know your opinions on Rebecca. Let me know if you love it, if you hate it, if you didn't like the ending like I did, if you think it was, if you just let me know. Just have a chat to me. You know how much I enjoy it. I want to thank you all so much for voting and for watching it. I appreciate it. And I hope you're ready to vote for the next one, because that, before we know it, it'll be the end of July and I have to put out the August TBR. So thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to speak to you all really, really soon.